Welcome to another episode of Don't Not Waste Time, Let's Save the Planet. Today I'd like to remind you of a few simple rules on how to put your recyclables into your yellow top bin. Number one rule: keep them naked. Do not bag your recyclables. Keep them loose, keep them naked, keep them all mingly but not in a bag. Why? Because if you bag them into, let's say, a plastic bag, even if it's transparent, what's going to happen in the more of the material recovery facility, the people will just grab it and throw it straight into the landfill pile. Why? Because that can have anything from dead animals to syringes, and it does happen. So it's really dangerous for the staff to open it. So if you do put them in a bag, they will end up in landfill. So please keep them loose. Number two rule: food contamination off. So free of food contamination. Make sure you give your tins, tuna tins, food tins, bean tins, whatever you've got, a rinse, just like this one. I have this one is a cat food. Just give them a little rinse. Again, we don't want you to waste too much water. We want you to just use, let's say, old dishwashing water. You just it's your dishes, so you can just give it a bit of a rinse, or I'll let these stand overnight with water in it because the cat food gets a little stuck. So give them a rinse. And make sure there's no food contamination. If you cannot be bothered, if it's growing, if it's already talking to you, just put it to landfill. Why? It's pretty self-explanatory, because food is just not part of the recyclables. You don't want to have steel with food, plastic with food. So, and also they will get fined probably with those contaminations. So, by the way, this little paper on it, it's fine. It's less than 3% contamination and it's considered acceptable. So you don't have to get them naked. Just clean the food from inside. Alrighty, number three is no lids. So, especially with plastic bottles, so any bottles really, no lids. Lids have to go off. There's many reasons for that. Number one is, if you put the lid on, have a look, it's a different type of plastic, so they cannot be recycled together. Another reason may be that also, if you take it off, it encourages you to actually empty it. Another thing, it needs to be dry, there's no liquid inside. Another reason for them is, if you keep the lid on, there is more likelihood that it actually combusts. It can explode, not only in the truck, but also when they end up baling it in the facility. Another reason is that in the MRF facility, actually it may not be recycled because the optical sorter finds this too heavy when it has the lid off. So it doesn't get pushed off and ends up in landfill. So many reasons to actually keep the lids off. These lids, I have quite a few of these. They are too small to be recycled through the normal process, so they go to landfill, or there's a few companies around. And that's it. I have one more question to answer from last week from Karen. Thank you, Karen. Karen has asked, where do you put used aerosol cans, such as deodorant, please? Great question, Karen. So aerosol cans actually used to be accepted through yellow top recycling bin. It's no longer the case for all the councils in WA. They have decided, they have found out actually, that the residue that can remain in some of those is quite dangerous and can be flammable. So that's why they are not accepted, because again, if they get picked up by a truck and then squished with some carton like pizza box, it may ignite a fire. And that's very dangerous and very expensive for the councils and for all of us. So that's why aerosols are not accepted. So where do you take them, Karen? And everyone else? One of the best things you can do is to ask your council. So different councils have different solutions. If you live in Stirling like myself, you can take it to Recycling Centre Balgada free of charge. Tamala Park accepts them. Pretty much any recycling centre will accept them. Some councils, like City of Coburn, I believe, they are now running trials with public bins for just aerosols. So check with your councils what you can do with it and then behave accordingly. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. As always, ask any questions you may have underneath and share this with people who may need to know. And don't not waste time. Save the planet. I'll see you next week. Bye.